ably substituted by Claire Mig. Are there any other apologies? Okay, so we'll move to declarations of pecuniary interest. I haven't been notified of any. No indications. Thank you. So we'll move to the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any comments that anybody would like to make on the minutes, or are they agreed? Okay, thank you very much. And we'll move to the first substantive item, which is the Merton Legacy Fund. Councillor Alan Brittis.
Thank you, Leader. Just a reminder that following the successful sale of Chas, a lot of officers involved with that back into the 1997 when it was first brought on board. Then under my leadership, it was made into a wholly owned subsidiary of the council. Many councillors here were involved. Many cabinet members here were involved there as well. And then, Leader, you would recall working closely with the chief executive. There was a lot of scrutiny, a lot of legal discussions, advice from on high. It was very tense, but the council delivered the sale of a prized project that led to an injection into the council's coffers of £186 million. Now, we're not saying that Merton is by far the only local authority that has managed a commercial enterprise and successfully sold it into a sale. There are many others like Hull, for example, and its communications company. However, when you look at Merton, it's the way we're dealing with that legacy, those funds. And this is why we're here today, because your leadership, Chair, you wanted a legacy fund that was close to the residents of the London Borough of Merton, and this is what we'll be discussing today. So I now want to hand over to the director in charge of putting this all together for us, Asad.
Thank you, Councillor. So just to reiterate some of the points, in 2023 we did sell it for £186 million, and really innovative for local government and a real proud achievement for the council. It's left a number of other legacies, financial ones in particular. We now do not have any government borrowing because the decision was made to pay off all our PWLB loans, so we now have just some legacy loans left, which we're working hard to reduce down from 38 million. That brings a number of benefits, obviously avoided interest costs and the cost of carrying that debt, which will be a benefit to Merton for a long time. There was also a decision to invest a significant amount over a long period of time, and that is bringing a great return into the council, and that is underpinning our medium-term financial strategy, and again bringing a return to Merton Council for many years to come. It was previously determined, once we did the sale, that we'd earmark 75 million for a legacy for Merton. This is the next step. This is using £15 million of that 75 million to develop proposals with residents, businesses and community groups in a transparent way and in a consultative way to ensure that there is a clear legacy for the borough. So the report outlines the next steps and the timetables and the process going forward. Thank you, Leader.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Asad. I'm opening up to colleagues for any questions or comments. Councillor Kenny.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much for the presentation. You've touched on it briefly, but I'd just like a little bit more information about how residents will continue to be involved in shaping how Merton Legacy Fund is spent in the borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kenny. So just a reminder, page 12, 6.1 talks about the existing initial engagement we've already undertaken as part of the budget consultation for 25-26. We've gone out to people, received over 1,400 responses, so a huge chunk of work. But we want another round of engagement to take place, and this will be delivered during the advisory board selection process. And in the future, there is scope for further public engagement during the lifetime of the fund allocation, perhaps a public vote on shortlisted ideas as well. So we want to engage people again and again and again, because this is the People's Legacy Fund.
Thank you, Councillor Alan Brittis. Councillor Judge.
Thank you. The 4.3 was mentioned of 75 million pounds, which 15. Are you able to confirm how many are you outline any plans currently of the consideration? So yes, Councillor Judge, you are quite right. You're on the ball again, as always. 75 million, 15 million for the Merton Legacy Fund, shared with people, organisations, community, people involved in communities. That leaves 60 million. And whilst no decisions have been made, these will be chunky legacy projects, big in themselves, but that will leave a legacy. So that when we're all gone from Merton, either to Cyprus, or better clients or whatever, people, we can all look back and say, I had a bit of a hand in that project. So yes, 60 million for major projects.
Brilliant. I don't see any further indications from colleagues, but I just want to place on record my thanks that this is such a remarkable and unique position for a local authority to be in. Obviously, after a lot of hard work that went into setting up CHAS through various officers and leaders and cabinet members, and being able to sell CHAS for 186 million pounds, and not only to pay down debt to help support the revenue pressures on the budget, but to set up this legacy fund, as you say, putting residents at the heart of decision making, being able at every step of the way to demonstrate the impact residents are having in choosing how this money will be spent, will put us in good stead, but also shine a light on Merton as being resolutely on the side of residents and wanting to enable them to enact change within our community. And just wanted to remind residents, for those that want to be part of the board, they can express their interest via the council's Commonplace platform. Online, you'll be able to find the link, and I think they've got until the 2nd of November, and I already have seen that it's been a hive of activity on the website, suggesting ideas, but also expressing interest for board members. So it shows the appetite of those residents in Merton to be part of this unique and remarkable achievement in the borough. So, colleagues, we're being asked to agree recommendations A and B. Are they agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Okay, so we'll now move to the next item, and that is item 5, budget 26-27 and the MTFS 26 to 2030. Councillor Alan Brittis.
Thank you, Leader. I seem to have a few agenda items here, but I've had full discussions with the Director for Finance, Assad. We have regular meetings, and I'm going to pass over to him because he has a good hand on the figures.
Thank you, Councillor Alan Brittis. So the report provides you with an update in terms of our progress towards setting a balanced budget for next year, and also updates the latest underlying assumptions that underpin the medium-term financial strategy. So some of the key assumptions are inflation, pay, ongoing revenue challenges from areas such as temporary accommodation and children's social care. Before you today is consideration of nearly £6.1 million worth of savings to contribute towards closing the budget gap for next year and beyond. This is a significant amount put forward at this stage of the year, and it compares very favourably to previous years. There is more to find. Funding and spending pressures do persist, and we will have further updates in subsequent reports and future cabinets. All councillors will have the opportunity to debate and scrutinise these savings proposals. The first set will be scrutiny panels in November, and then there'll be a further set of scrutiny panels in January, and then all the proposals will then go to February full council for approval. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you very much, Hasad. Any questions? Councillor Macaulay.
Thank you to the director for this very extensive report, and also to the cabinet member for your input as well. Obviously, Councillor Alambretis, with your experience on the EHRC, can you confirm that you are happy with the draft equalities impact assessment for the savings proposals which you have presented to us tonight?
Yes, thank you for that question. So EHRC stands for the Equality Human Rights Commission. I was there as a commissioner for a full term of 3 years when the chair was Trevor Phillips, who's well known to everyone as someone steeped in equalities. Yes, we take equality issues representing the 9 protected characteristics very seriously here in the London Borough of Merton. I have huge experience of the Equality Act 2010, and therefore I know that staff work very, very hard to come up with these equalities impact assessments that mean a lot to us in terms of savings we're making, ensuring that they are in no way discriminatory of those protected characteristics, but where there are issues that we have mitigated as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor McCabe.
Thank you, Leader. Can I ask my good friend and colleague, Councillor Alambretis, if he could confirm the engagement and scrutiny process for the forthcoming budget?
Yes, thank you to my co-councillor Ward colleague on Ravensbury Ward, cabinet member for social care. Your question got me thinking about scrutiny rounds in other boroughs. So I looked up Kingston. This is what their website says. The number of scrutiny rounds for Kingston Council budget process is not explicitly stated. And I turned to Richmond upon Thames. The London Borough of Richmond upon Thames does not have a fixed number of budget scrutiny rounds. Then I turned to Sutton, the nearest to us, and their websites that says under heading business and financial planning reports, they agree that the process, they have to agree the process for scrutiny and budget consultation, and that the budget proposals and corporate plans are priorities are published for consideration by everyone. You go onto that page and it says error, page unavailable. So whereas here in the London Borough of Merton, we have 2 full rounds of scrutiny in November and January. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's no further indications. I'd just like to thank Councillor Alambretis for his business-like approach that he's brought to the budget this year, and to thank colleagues around this table and in outside of this room for the hard work that's been put into bringing the budget, as we've heard previously, to this stage, which by far we've seen more savings at this stage than we have over the previous years. That being said, there is still more work for everybody to do ahead of that second round of scrutiny next year, but it's a really good start to this budget cycle. So thanks from me.
I can give you those figures where you're saying quite rightly that at this stage last year we're saving more this year. So last year, give figures given to me by Asad, our director, who has a good hand on these figures. So this time last year we had saved 2.685 million put forward for the forthcoming budget, and the equivalent figure this year is 6.132 million. But leaders, you rightly say, that does not mean that we can be complacent, because given temporary accommodation costs are going up, and I know my cabinet colleague for housing is doing all he can, there is still a gap that is higher than last year, but we're getting there. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll turn to recommendations in the report. We're asked to agree recommendations A and B. Are they agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. So we'll move to item 6, again to Councillor Alambretis on the amendments to revenue budgets and the capital programme requiring cabinet approval for period 5.
Thank you, Leader, this is a technical paper where we outline capital spending, where there are changes, where we've had to go back, and it discusses whether this goes to cabinet or needs council approval. So I'll hand over to Assad, who will go through some of these issues.
Thank you, Councillor Lambritis. Very briefly, as we don't have a monthly monitoring report going to cabinet, it is sometimes necessary to have a standalone paper, essentially getting approval for capital adjustments, and this is one of those. So there are two appendix, one to show the overall capital amendments to the programme, and the second one which presents the business case for the installation of an artificial pitch at Sir Joseph Hood recreation ground. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments from colleagues? Councillor Cooper-Marvier.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thanks to the cabinet member and officers for the report. Can you just tell me which schools in Merton will be benefiting from the capital program this year? Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper-Marvier. Just to remind everyone that we did expand 23 primary schools, providing them with well-designed additions, not porter cabin classes, and that provided an extra 4,500 primary school places. So building on that, we're proud that we're helping schools like Poplar Primary School, Abbotsbury Primary School, Watley Avenue Special School, Persaid Upper Special School, and Persaid Lower Special School, in addition to many other schools with capital projects.
Brilliant. Thank you, Councillor Lambritis. I don't see any further colleagues wishing to speak on this item. So if we move to the recommendations, we're being asked to agree recommendation A and B. Are they agreed? Agreed. So we'll move to item 7, the school meals catering contract 2026 to 2029. Councillor Kenny.
Thank you, Chair. It's just to recommend this to you. It's the it has to come up because the company that had the contract with the term of 3 years plus the extra 2 years has come to the end of their tenure, and therefore we're obligated to go out to tender again. The same company could put in, as well as other companies as well. And one thing really underpinning it that is important is that we're going to be paying the London Living Wage. So everyone who's employed by the company must be paid the London Living Wage, which we hope will lead to local people applying for the jobs because it's a decent salary. And equally, it's to ensure there's a nutritional meal served every day, including meat-free days. And it would be ultimately up to the Executive Director for Children, Lifelong Learning and Families to agree the tender. Is there anything that wants to add?
Thank you, Councillor. I think that the recommendation for this Gateway 1 report has been set out really well by Councillor Kenny. Councillor Kenny, thank you for that. The only thing I would add is that a lot of work has gone into building the confidence of the 34 schools that have committed to go for the repeat of the contract, and we will continue to ensure that they work with the council to ensure that local residents are signposted into vacant posts that they have, and that the London Living Wage is a clear commitment that will be monitored through the contract should we be given agreement to continue this Gateway 1 report through the procurement board.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, are there any questions or comments? Councillor Kawesa.
Thank you very much, Leader. And of course, thank you to my cabinet colleague for presenting a report with quite a few really positive developments for our school meals programme in schools. But we, of course, know that alongside tasty meals, our children also want meals that are good for them. And so I'll be interested to hear a bit more about how this contract will ensure good nutritional outcomes for our children in schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kawesa. Yes, there is legislation that they have to comply with regarding national food standards, but we want to go beyond that, and with local requirements being 2 meat-free meals a week, 2 days a week, with salads and additive restrictions, so they won't be full of additives. It'll be a more natural meal. We also employ an officer who monitors the catering throughout the borough, goes around termly visiting every school, checking the quality of standards to ensure that they're being maintained.
Councillor Alan Brittis.
I'd like to thank Councillor Kenny for this report, and just wanted to know how will this new contract benefit Merton's residents and catering workers employed through the contract?
Thank you, Councillor Alan Brittis. We're hoping to employ local people, and it often is because the hours will fit in with families who have got school children. We'll be paying the London Living Wage, which will make it more attractive for local people to apply for the job. So hopefully encouraging local people. And one of the side issues we hope will come from this, paying the London Living Wage will reduce the need for agency work, which is often expensive. So we'll get the employers from Merton and not need to go to agency staff.
You colleagues, and just to round up, I think this is a remarkable achievement and something we should celebrate, that this is another contract since this administration decided to go down the route of becoming a London Living Wage accredited employer, of another contract that is insisting on the London Living Wage to be paid to workers to ensure that there's fair pay for a fair day's work. So I think this is a tremendous amount of work that has gone into this, and it should be an achievement we do celebrate when that contract award is made to the contractors. There's no further indications for comments. So Cabinet, we're being asked to agree recommendations A, B, C and D. Are they agreed? Brilliant, thank you. That's the last item for tonight, and that concludes